Who do you think is closer to getting back to a Super Bowl, Chiefs or the Eagles?
This is not a difficult, this is a difficult question to me, but I got to go Chiefs. And the Chiefs for me for three reasons: experience, coaching, quarterback. Coaching and quarterback to me are the two biggest movers of any franchise in any sport in America. If you have a good coach or a great coach and you have a great quarterback, number one, experience. The Chiefs just in general have more experience than the Eagles. And I'm not just talking about playing game, I'm talking about playoff experience. Since Mahomes took over as the quarterback, okay, a couple things. They've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. The Chiefs have played 21 extra playoff games since 2018 when Mahomes took over. The Eagles played 12. Eagles are 7-5 in those playoff games. The Chiefs are an astounding 17-4. So you got the playoff experience. You played about a season and a half of meaningful football. Then you go to coaching. In my opinion, I think Andy Reid's arguably the best coach of all time. Like, obviously, like Belichick, great. And what is the one thing that Andy Reid needed to really get over that hump? Guess what? It's a quarterback. And what did they do? They went out and drafted Mahomes. They got him 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL? It ain't even close. He's on another level. It's Patrick Mahomes. Who's the best coach in the NFL? In my opinion, it's not close. It's Andy Reid. I'm taking coach, and I'm taking quarterback, and I'm taking playoff experience. Those 3 things for me.
He needs some milk.
All right, guys, I got to address this. First of all, I don't know about you. Does Chase Daniels rub you the wrong way? I just, there's something about him that annoys me, okay? But bottom line, obviously, of course, everyone knows his take is going to be Kansas City, which is typical of Chase Daniels. He does not like to give the Eagles credit. He only does it when he has to because they won the Super Bowl. But other than that, And I feel like he really doesn't like Jalen Hurts. It's very clear. He doesn't like Jalen Hurts. Maybe it's a jealousy thing because he was a shit quarterback. I don't know what it is. But first of all, let's address his take that Kansas City Chiefs will be the team to repeat, or more likely to repeat, and get back to the Super Bowl and potentially win it. So the easiest take of all is coach quarterback. That's the easiest take. And granted, they have the best quarterback, or one of the best quarterbacks, and they have currently, I think it's fair to say, Andy Reid's the best head coach in the NFL currently. Nobody's going to dispute that. But that didn't matter. That didn't matter in this last Super Bowl where the Eagles utterly destroyed them. So a head coach and quarterback, very important. But I think the Eagles have proven that they have the most clutch quarterback in the NFL currently. And I think Nick Sirianni has proven in his, 4 years as a head coach, that he's a pretty damn good head coach. He's gone through coordinators, everything. Yes, the Eagles had that collapse in 2023. Things went bad. But you know what? He rebounded. He kept the team together. Those players still believed in him. You know, after that 2023 season, hearing players like Fletcher Cox just stick up for Nick Sirianni. Really. And, you know, why would they do that if they didn't really believe in him? And I think yeah, he does things that rub people the wrong way. And sometimes you're like, oh, why is he doing that? Or he's overly emotional. But the bottom line is, it's not what we think. It's what the players think, the team thinks, and it's what he gets out of his players. The players don't quit on it. So the bottom line is, yes, Andy Reid, I would say, is currently the best coach in the NFL. Granted, Mahomes is currently arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. But none of that mattered because the Eagles destroyed them in the Super Bowl. Destroyed them. Why? Because they're a much better team. So let's take the experience factor. Yes, I know Kansas City has been to 5 Super Bowls. Now they won 3, lost 2. which is great. It's definitely great. But the bottom line is the Eagles have plenty of experience. They've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. They faced Kansas City both times, and they beat Kansas City once. And if you just take it over the last 7, 8 years, they've been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 and lost 1. A lot of those players are now gone. I think Jake Elliott's the only player left from that team, and Lane Johnson. So you can't just use the experience thing. To me now, you can't, because A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, they all have the experience now. Their experience, all these young players are experienced now. They've all been in the Super Bowl. They've all won it. Most of them have been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. So experience is irrelevant, because the Eagles have just as much experience as Kansas City. Well, maybe not. You could say Kansas City played a lot more games. Great. But how much experience? At what point does experience matter or not matter anymore? Because once you have enough experience, you can't look at the Eagles and say this is not a team experience in the playoffs or in Super Bowls. They've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years, won 1. That's enough. Every year under Sirianni, they've been a playoff team. They have experience. They've gone through coordinators. They've gone through coming off a Super Bowl. They have experience doing pretty much everything that Kansas City has. Now, here's the real factor. If you ask me, why are the Eagles more likely to get back to the Super Bowl? First of all, the Eagles are more likely to get back to the Super Bowl because they have a more talented team that is much, much younger than Kansas City. Kansas City's best players, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, great players, great. But they're old. I mean, Kelce did not look the same to me last year. In fact, that was the first year I'm like, oh man, he looks like he's done. I was actually surprised he came back for another year. That's how bad he looked. And maybe he'll come back and have a good year. Do I think Kansas City will be a playoff team? Probably. But the history shows us teams that lose the Super Bowl tend to struggle in the next season. Why should we expect Kansas City's any different? Especially because I feel like Kansas City is not as talented anymore because their best players are their oldest players. And, I think Andy Reid's a good coach. I think they'll be a playoff team. I do not expect them to get back to the Super Bowl. I expect either Buffalo or Baltimore or possibly Denver, because that Denver defense is really legit. But I think people have seen now that this Kansas City team is beatable. And they saw the blueprint on how to beat them. I do not believe Kansas City has fixed its offensive line. I still feel like they have a lot of holes. I don't feel like that aura that they had last year where they find ways to win is going to work. Once people believe that they're going to beat you, that they can beat you now, it changes everything. Now, I do believe Andy Reid and Mahomes will find a way to get back to the Super Bowl over the next couple of years. No question. I'm just talking about this year going into next season. I do not think it's likely that Kansas City gets back to the Super Bowl. I think they need to take a step back before they can take a step forward. That's how I see it. Now, the Eagles, on the other hand, have the best GM in football. The Eagles have made smart, intelligent decisions. The Eagles' star players are all young and in their prime. They're young. I mean, Jalen Carter is young. So Jalen Hurts is young. A.J. Brown's still young. Barkley is in his prime. He should still be very effective this season. I don't think he's going for 2,000 yards, but I think around 1,600 yards. The Eagles' offensive line is built for success. The only really old guy on that offensive line is Lane Johnson, and he still looks pretty damn good. So to me, when I look at the age of the Eagles' best players, it's young. This team's going to be around for a long time. Cooper DeJean. Think about it, man. Guantanamo Bay. These guys are young. And the Eagles had a hell of a draft too. So to me, the other factor that they didn't really mention is that the Eagles are in I think, a easier path conference because of the quarterbacks. The better quarterbacks are all in the AFC. You got Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, so I think that conference, one of those quarterbacks is ready to take a step and get to the Super Bowl next year. I believe that. I believe it's going to be either Baltimore, Buffalo, possibly Denver. I don't know that Cincinnati did enough, but I do expect Cincinnati to be a playoff team next year. I would imagine they're not going to miss it 2 years in a row. So in my opinion, obviously, I don't think it's a question. The Eagles are a better team at this point. I think they showed it in the playoffs. It wasn't even close. And the bottom line, guys, is I think should the Eagles stay healthy, I think they'll be right back in the Super Bowl next year. I think they're clearly the best team in the NFL right now. And we'll see what happens. But I would be surprised if Kansas City's back in the Super Bowl next year. I really feel like they're aging. I feel like they're going to take a step back this year. It's going to be very interesting to watch and see what happens. What do you guys think? Who do you think is more likely to get back to the Super Bowl next year? Do you think Kansas City is still going to have that same aura after what happened to them in the Super Bowl? Let me know down below. I'll talk to you later.
Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.